There are so many things in my life that I wish I could automate, like laundry or grocery shopping or cleaning my house. We live in an increasingly automated world, but some things still require tedious manual work. Luckily for e-commerce business owners, shipping is no longer a manual task, thanks to ShipStation. Spend more time growing your business when you automate shipping tasks with ShipStation. Go to shipstation.com and use code RESPECT today and sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's shipstation.com, code RESPECT. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable from Paris. If I told y'all about the ordeal that it took to get to this city this time, Cannes Lion was going on earlier this week, and I was supposed to fly out on Tuesday. A bunch of my friends were going to be in town, so I was going to go hang out and then come to Paris. Get to the airport 9:30 in the morning for an 11:20 flight. Check in. I get my ticket, and it says my plane leaves at 5:45. No, my plane leaves at 11:20. So I find one of the agents. I'm like, hey, they printed out the wrong time because I'm supposed to leave at 11:20. She does a little clicking around on her computer and she's like, oh no, your flight got canceled and this is the next available flight. And I was like, no. You're gonna have to book me on something else. Like there's a flight available on Air France, fly me on that. And I was flying on British Airways. I was like, y'all can book me. What y'all not gonna do is have me waiting at the airport for 8 hours. They were like, there's nothing showing in our system. I'm like, we can cancel because your flight's been delayed for more than 3 hours, but we can't get you to Cannes any earlier. So I'm like, you know what? I recorded the podcast in advance. I was like, I'll edit the podcast. I'll hang out in a lounge. I'll work on this book proposal. I'll figure it out, but I have to get to Cannes. And the party I really wanted to go to that night didn't start till 11 o'clock. D-Nice was throwing a party in Cannes. So I'm in the airport all day. Somewhere around 4:30, I'm sitting in the lounge and this big commotion is happening. This woman is having a full freak out. I'm like, what's going on? And they were like, oh, her flight's been canceled. She's been waiting here all day. What? I turn around and look at the board, check my flight. Most of the flights on British Airways have been canceled. They canceled, I would say, at least 30 flights, maybe more that day. It's 4:30 when I find out my flight has been canceled. I was like, well, fuck, I can't leave the airport right now. 1, because I don't have my bags. 2, because it's rush hour. And even in non-rush hour, it takes an hour to get from Heathrow back to my place in central London. So I was like, I might as well just hang out because I'm not going back in rush hour. Finish the podcast, send that in. I was like, okay, let me get on the phone and see if I can reschedule my flight. Not for the next day because I was only going to be in Cannes for 2 days, and see if I can go straight to Paris. I try to go to a physical person in the airport since, I'm literally in the British Airways terminal because British Airways is based out of Heathrow. I go to customer service where you're supposed to be able to rebook your flight. They're like, no, we're not doing any rebookings in the airport. You have to do it online or you have to call. We're not doing any rebookings because we've canceled so many flights. The reason you should be doing rebookings in the airport is because you've canceled so many flights. They don't want to deal with the people. So they're sending the people online or they're sending people to the customer service hotline. I called the number. I sit on hold the first time because I had to go through 3 rounds of this. I sat on the phone the first time for 20 minutes. When they finally answered the phone, the woman was like, aren't you at the airport? Can't you go talk to them? They're not allowing us to talk to them, ma'am. They're directing all of us to call the hotline or to go online. And she was just like, you can't go online? Ma'am, I am on the phone with you. Can you assist me or not? I've never flown Spirit. I've also never flown Ethiopian Airways. They're the 2 airlines that consistently people drag, never take them, never fly them. They're the worst. They're awful. Terrible customer service. Add British Airways into that shit. They are awful. Awful. I finally leave where the gates are and I go to baggage claim to get my bag. I get there. The guy was like, oh, it's going to be at least 30 minutes to an hour before the bags to Nice, because that's where I had to fly into to get to Cannes, before the bags come out. My flight was canceled at 4:30. I didn't get my bag until 9:30. They just didn't bring them out. They canceled so many flights. They were bringing in bags from all different places. And I was like, okay, are the bags from Nice? Are the bags from the Nice flight? are they in a certain area? And they were like, no, all the bags from everywhere from all the canceled flights are just mixed together. So it's thousands of bags. They've taken them off the, what's the thing that goes around? They've taken them off and they've lined them up, but they're lined up just just in the way that they took them off. Like there's no sorting. So you just got to walk up and down aisles, hundreds, if not 1,000 bags in 2 different baggage areas and just hope for the best. It took me 5 hours to get my bag. And then I couldn't get a cab from Heathrow, so I ended up taking the express train, which really wasn't that bad, all things considered. But I didn't get back home until 11 o'clock. And I was like, oh my God. I was able to get them to rebook my flight. Like they pushed back so fucking hard. And I was like, ma'am, at that point, I was like, I've been at this airport for 11 hours. You have canceled 2 of my flights and I can't even leave because I've been waiting 4 hours to get to find my bag at baggage claim. You're going to have to do me a solid. Like I have plans. I am bouncing around Europe. You have ruined the first leg of my trip. The very least you could do is help me get to my second destination. They were like, fly from London to Paris. You could just take the train. The train is filled, ma'am. Plus, you work for an airline. How are you telling people to take the train instead of the fucking plane? All that shit, and they had flights. She was like, the new flight is more than 350 miles from the old flight. So, like, our policy is, ma'am, I need you to make an exception. I have explained to you what I have been through because of your airline all day. I need you to make an exception for me. Can you do that, please? Please, ma'am. I'm asking you because y'all owe me this. She's like, okay, fine. We can waive the fee. It was £289 to fly. I was like, I ain't even pay that for the original ticket. £289 is roughly $350 to fly from London to Paris. It's like flying from DC to New York. You get up in the air and then 20 minutes later, they're like, okay, we're preparing for our descent now. They did get me out on Thursday. I got to the airport. I didn't even book a hotel for Paris until I was on the plane because I was so like traumatized by what happened on Tuesday. And I was like, I'm not trying to book a hotel and then I can't cancel it because y'all's flight don't take off. Like, I was on the plane and the plane was moving before I actually like clicked the book button. But I'm here. I'm in Paris. I have a few friends that are in town. I went to a party last night. It's Paris Fashion Week. It's men's fashion week. So like a ton of people are in town. Maybe you saw, because it's everywhere. Pharrell is the new creative director for Louis Vuitton menswear. He did his first runway show in Paris on Tuesday. So a lot of people are in town. And when I say a lot of people, I mean like Jay-Z, Beyonce. Jay-Z performed at the show. Rihanna, Rocky, Zendaya, LeBron and Savannah. Plus, Global Citizen was last night. Lenny Kravitz was the headliner. I was actually supposed to go to that, but I had another event and I just couldn't pull it off for both. But there's just a ton of people. And by people, I mean black people in Paris right now. So it's really good vibes. I mean, it's always good vibes in Paris, but there's like Black American vibes. So it's good times. So I went to a party last night, hung out with some friends, and I'll probably do a dinner tonight. When I'm done recording this, I'm going to go gallivant in the city. There's a couple museums and a restaurant that I've had high on my bucket list that I wasn't able to get to last time I was here. So I want to do that today. And then tomorrow, I'm off again. It's like a mini odyssey. It's 3 countries, 3 cities. It was supposed to be 4 cities, 3 countries, but, you know, roll with the punches. You know, when you travel for a life, you take some L's. Speaking of taking L's, last episode, I'd already heard about the contraption. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. That the millionaires and billionaires took down to see the remains, the graveyard that is the Titanic, and their contraption was lost in the ocean. They couldn't find them. They did a whole rescue mission for them, which I have thoughts about. Not actually mad that they did a rescue mission. Like, I understand people are like, well, your dumbass shouldn't have gone down there, which I get why people say that, but also people do dumb shit sometimes. I think people have amazing resentment for people with extreme wealth. They're rich people for sure. They might be stupid people based on, you know, some of the things that I've read about the contraption, but they're still human lives. Even if you don't like billionaires, even if you think they're assholes, if you don't like white people, everybody wasn't white. 2 of those people were brown. I think they were from Bangladesh. I think it's a sad situation. And I've seen the memes. I've laughed at the memes. People bring out amazing humor in the midst of tragedy. And still, I have empathy for them. I spent 9 months bopping around various countries in Africa. And for sure, I made some decisions that in retrospect, like, girl, by God's grace, and the prayers of your grandmothers are the only reason that I am still here. And I've done things in the moment. Like, I knew when I did it, it was stupid. Like when I got on that canoe in the middle of a storm to go into the ocean in Lamu, trying to get to the airport one morning, I knew it was dumb. And when the canoe stopped in the middle of the ocean and I can't swim, don't have on life jacket there might have been a life jacket in the boat. I'm like, you out here really for real playing with your life. Most of my stuff does involve water, so maybe that's why I have more empathy than most for the guys. I got on this boat in Dakar. It really should have been like 20 people on the boat. It was probably like 60. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But everybody was like, this is normal. This is regular. You'll be fine. Like, these boats go back and forth. It's only 5 minutes. You really gonna wait for the next boat? The next boat gonna have the same amount of people on it. Just get on the boat. There are so many things in my life that I wish I could automate, like laundry or grocery shopping or cleaning my house. We live in an increasingly automated world, but some things still require tedious manual work. Luckily for e-commerce business owners, shipping is no longer a manual task, thanks to ShipStation. Save time automating your shipping and returns in the ShipStation dashboard while keeping costs down with industry-leading discounts. Using ShipStation is so easy. When I launched my e-commerce business, I used ShipStation and I learned everything I needed to know in under an hour. I also love that ShipStation rates save me money. If you have been on the fence about trying ShipStation, now is the time. They're offering a free trial and it's a really quick setup. With ShipStation's industry-leading discounts, you'll never worry about overpaying for shipping. Get up to 84% off USPS and UPS rates. And if that's not enough, use my promo code to try ShipStation free for 2 months. Over 130,000 companies, including Ratchet and Respectable, have grown their e-commerce business with ShipStation. And 98% of companies that stick with ShipStation for a year become customers for life. Spend more time growing your business when you automate shipping tasks with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com and use code RESPECT today and sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, code RESPECT. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you ever tried to calculate how much time, say in a given week, that you spend on yourself versus how much time you spend on other people? I would guess for most of us, we wouldn't like that answer. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. I can't be the only person that's guilty of this. But when we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched thin and burned out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. If you are a regular listener to Ratchet and Respectable, then you know I am a huge proponent of therapy. I think everyone should get a little. And don't wait until you're in crisis before you go. One of the reasons you go to therapy is so that you can avoid a crisis. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And if it's not a match, you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I love how easy BetterHelp makes it to access professional help. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/ratchet today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ratchet. Don't let summer funk ruin your summer fun. This year, it's time to summer-proof your body odor, and luckily, there's a solution. That's why today, I'm excited to tell you about Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. Lumi was created by an OBGYN who developed a uniquely formulated pH-balanced deodorant. It's aluminum-free, skin-safe, and clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. Oh, and did we mention that it's also clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone? 12 hours after a shower, the average person has an odor level of 6 out of 10. With Lumi, the average odor level is 0 out of 10. Now, I admit I was very skeptical of trying Lumi. You can't play around with your deodorant. You can't afford for it to fail. Thankfully, Lumi keeps me odor-free all day long. Lumi whole body deodorant is a first of its kind, but technically it can go almost anywhere: thigh folds, belly button, feet, and beyond. Unlike some deodorants that try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered to stop odor before it starts. And Lumi comes in a variety of fresh, bright scents like clean tangerine, lavender sage, or my personal favorite, toasted coconut. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi Starter Pack with code RATCHET at LumiDeodorant.com. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you visit LumiDeodorant.com and use code RATCHET. Sakara's flexible signature nutrition program makes it easy to plan nourishing, feel-good meals around your packed summer calendar. Dinner plans this week? You can sign up for breakfast and lunches. Tired of the same takeout? Choose dinners. And customize even more when you subscribe. The options are endless and catered to your taste and time. Sakara brings expertly designed organic nutrition programs and wellness essentials right to your door. Their science-backed, ready-to-eat meals deliver results you can see and feel, from weight management and ease bloat to boosted energy and clearer skin. I love Sakara meals. There's so much variety, and their meals taste great. And right now, Sakara is offering our listeners 20% off their first order when they go to sakara.com/ratchet or enter code RATCHET at checkout. That's Sakara, SAKARA.com/ratchet to get 20% off your first order. Sakara.com/ratchet. So what are you waiting for? And the water was choppy. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Once again, by God's grace and praying grandmothers, I knew it was stupid when I did it. I knew I had no business doing it, but I was on some like, oh, it's an adventure. I'll be fine. God didn't bring me this far to drop me off here. Or maybe he did. I made dumb decisions. I've gotten on little planes. I slept with my door open. I followed a guy. I mean, he worked there. And it was in like a secured area. It wasn't like I was really in the middle of the forest. It was like a curated forest as an attraction, separating like the super expensive hotel from like the medium expensive hotel. But still, a strange man. Like, you want to go into the forest and see some giraffes? Yes. Any of those situations, like it could have gone like, ape shit. When I left my door open and dude popped up, like I really genuinely thought in a moment I was about to get raped, best case scenario, or killed. Thankfully, it didn't happen that way. I mean, stupid decisions. But do I want somebody to come rescue my ass? Yes. Did I do something dumb? Absolutely. Do I want somebody to come save me, come help me in the moment? Please. I'm not mad they went to look for the men. What I am mad at is this level of concern, attention, nonstop coverage, tracking the amount of oxygen, bringing on the experts, what could have happened, what went wrong. Do this for missing Black people, particularly Black girls. Black girls go missing every day and no one sends out a search party for them. Their lives are equally as valuable as adventure-seeking millionaires in a contraption that's gone into the ocean. Your chances of actually recovering them are probably higher. The level of care and concern that you have for rich white people, find it for everybody, even the people that you don't quote unquote consider valuable. Because America, the media talking about it, people on social media talking about it, they were talking about it on the radio in London. I was like, are you serious? I was like, this isn't even y'all's issue. Y'all concerned about the millionaires too? Titanic left from the UK. Okay. But all this chatter, all this concern, it says a lot about who is valued and who is not. I don't understand white people's fascination with Titanic. I wasn't really that interested in it till the movie came out. I didn't see the movie in theaters because I was like, it's 3 hours. I'm not sitting in a movie theater for that long. I did it for Malcolm X. I'm not doing it for Titanic. I finally went to see it in the college theater. I think I paid $2 to go see it one afternoon. I ain't had nothing better to do. And I was like, well, let me just go watch it since everybody's talking about it and that song is everywhere. And it was actually a good movie. Like, I like Jack and Rose. There absolutely was room for him to get on that board at the end of the movie. People have different obsessions. Like, these people are really into the Titanic. I'm really into, like, wild animals. I went on safari, 5 times in 9 months? I really like animals. I bought, like, the big-ass camera to shoot the animals. That's another one. Like, why is your dumb ass out there with the animals? You sit in a truck that doesn't even have windows or a ceiling, running around with elephants and lions and cheetahs. If the elephant gets mad and decides, today is the day, then you don't have no more days. The elephant come attack the truck. I know my black ass shouldn't be out here. Still, come get me. I wanted to take pictures of lion eyeballs. I've literally said that on this podcast. I know it's crazy. And I go do the crazy shit. Please come get me if something happens to me. I read this one article on CNN and they guessed that maybe the guys had died an unpainful death. Everybody else was like, no, like that shit probably imploded or they sat in their own urine and vomit, muscle spasms because it was too small to stand up. It's 5 people in a very small space. And they were in that space until the air ran out. Like they watched each other die and they had no food. It was probably a horrible ending. By all accounts, they are no longer alive. My prayers and empathy are with their family. Except one of the billionaires had a stepson who went to a Blink-182 concert while his stepfather was lost at sea. Tell me you don't like that man without telling me you don't like that man. Ain't really nothing you could do sitting in the house waiting on a phone call. I understand why people just need to get out and about, go do something. I totally get why he went to the concert. What I don't understand is why he had to put it on social media and tell everyone about it. Sir, if you don't just go and get on, I do not understand this obsession with putting every single thing that you do on social media. And I'm somebody who shares a lot. I tell you probably 10%. There's tons of shit I do that I never mention. I don't post pictures. I don't take pictures. It is not because I'm doing anything nefarious. It's just I don't need to share every single aspect of my life. In other news, we have a treat today. Remember a couple episodes, I was like ranting and raving about my friend Tia Williams. I'm absolutely name dropping because I'm very proud of her. Once again, I only talk about the people I'm proud of. The people who ain't shit, I just keep that in my head. But Tia Williams has a movie coming out on Netflix today, The Perfect Find, starring Gabrielle Union. Tia and I used to be colleagues at Essence, back in like 2009. But she's just like a wonderful human and also a wonderfully talented human. She's the author of 6 books. I think The Perfect Find is her 5th. Yeah, it's Accidental Diva, and then the YA novels, and then the Yaman book, and then The Perfect Find, and then my absolute fave. We talked about it when it came out because I read it in a day. 7 Days in June. I love that book. Tia is an absolutely amazing writer and author. And now her 5th book has been turned into a Netflix movie. The only reason I haven't watched it is because I didn't get up early enough and I had to do the podcast and then I'm going out to Gallivant in Paris. But I'll probably get a chance to watch it tonight. I'm so super excited about it. I'm so super happy and proud for Tia and her family. She has an adorable teenage daughter. She has a husband who takes fabulous pictures and video of her on the red carpet. He did really good for the premiere of her film. It premiered at Tribeca Film Festival and he got really great footage. I was like, yes, husband, yes. And today, our treat is we have a chat with Tia. I talked to her last week when I was still in London. The signal was terrible. I tried to do it online. She was at her parents' house. I was having sketchy Wi-Fi issues. So we couldn't do the call over the internet, the app that I usually use, which makes it sound good and clear. We had to go old school and do it on speakerphone held up to the microphone. It's not my favorite way. It's not the best audio, but it's what we've got. We tried twice with the online thing and just the Wi-Fi gods were working against us. But we got the content. And I got a chat with my Tia to talk about her movie and her book and the process of making it all come together. It's a totally fascinating story. Like, I've known Tia for years, and like as she was talking, I was like, girl, wait, what? Also, her lived life is totally a rom-com. Please welcome Tia Williams to Ratchet and Respectable. We tried to be fancy, Tia. We really tried.
We tried.
We tried so hard. We did what we could.
We tried. That's terrible. This is okay, right?
It's just clearer when it's over the signal, but if the signal is trash, then it's not clear at all. There's nothing. Yeah. That's all.
Okay.
It's fine. We're going to do it. But hi, Tia Williams. I am so excited to talk to you today.
Thrilled to talk to you. I'm so excited you're in London. I love London.
I know. I moved here like a month ago. It's one of my favorite cities.
Black British life, like, it's my favorite new, like, you know, thing in media. I will read all the books. I will watch all of the shows. I just love it.
Yay. It's really good. I've been hanging out like in Brixton, i.e. where all the black people are. It's good living.
Yes, love Brixton.
Yes. But you've been living. When I hit you, I guess like yesterday, I had set a timer on my phone. I'd set an alarm because I was like, call Tia because her movie comes out on the 23rd. And I didn't realize that you were like mid-prep for your debut at the Tribeca Film Festival.
Yes! It was so surreal. I don't even know, like, first of all, I'd never been. Have you been?
Yeah, I assumed you'd been like a million times.
It's not my world, you know, and I was never an entertainment editor. I was in beauty. Like, it was so outside of anything that I've ever done, you know? So to be there, first of all, was exciting, but then to be there because there's a movie premiering based on the book that you wrote in your bad pajamas in your bedroom almost 10 years ago is insane.
But you looked so good. Everyone in matching orange.
I know. The synergy. It was not planned at all.
I assumed the orange was planned because it was the same shade of orange. It was you and Gabrielle and Gina Torres and our agent because we share an agent for people who don't know. But Charisse was also in orange. I was like, oh my God, this was planned orange.
Oh, like we just looked like, you know, like a dazzling sunset. It was the mood board, but none of us had, like, checked in.
I love it. And orange is, like, the next it color. Like, when I went shopping yesterday, like, over here, like, there's orange everywhere.
It looks so good on brown skin.
It does. Everyone looks so beautiful. What did it feel like when you get to Tribeca Film Festival? There's, like, a line of reporters and cameras, and you're walking the red carpet for your film. What is going through your head?
It was wild. I just never thought that I would be in the position. You know, we come from the same world. Like, we're journalists, we're reporters. Like, you know, being on the other side of it. And I've been an author for a long time, so being interviewed about my book is one thing. But being interviewed, you know, about a movie is not something that it's something I always hoped for. I feel like almost every author sort of has that dream of having a film or TV adaptation, but, you know, Hollywood is tricky, things get optioned, and then they don't work out. I've been in a situation where I've had books optioned before, and it doesn't work out. So I had no reason to believe that this would actually, like, go to the finish line. And so I'm having many layers of, is this really happening as I'm walking down the red carpet? I'm like, this is also my first time wearing Skims. Skims or anything like that. So I can barely breathe, A. And, you know, I'm not a high heel wearer, so I was like, let me just make sure I don't fall, make sure I breathe, make sure I continue to smile, and at the same time try to take all this in. But I actually couldn't take it in until I was sitting in the audience watching it. That's when it really hit me that this is happening.
What are you thinking when you're sitting in the audience?
I became an audience member. Like, it was like I was watching it like everyone else. And I had seen it before. I got a screener, but it's different, like sitting on your couch with your, you know, very dry, blunt teenager. You know, it's like, it didn't really sink in until you see, I loved it when I saw it at home, but seeing it with an audience and hearing the reactions and understanding that these characters come from your brain. You know, the movie had a different writer and director. It was definitely their vision, but the springboard was something that I created. So it was just wild to see ideas that were in my brain, that only lived in my brain and on the page, you know, see them come alive in the theater. It was crazy.
Wow.
So I was trying so hard to, when you put on your listening ears, like when you're in school and they're like, put on your listening ears, I was trying to hear every little thing that people were saying in the audience, like trying to pick up on, things that they would whisper to each other. And it was all extremely favorable, I have to say.
Good, good, good. I saw your recap this morning and you were like, they loved it. They loved it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Laughter. But the tears were for me. I was weeping like crazy. And trying to keep my lashes on.
It's a whole ordeal. Trying to stay engaged, trying to stay beautiful, trying to breathe.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Hard. Yeah.
You said you wrote this book like 10 years ago.
2016.
2016.
I started writing it 10 years ago, yeah.
Okay. So where did this idea come from? Because you've done a memoir before this one. You've done a novel before this one. This is your fifth book. You've had six now.
Yeah. I had done, my first novel was The Accidental Diva, and then I did YA. I
Okay.
did young adult. And then I worked with Iman on her beauty memoir.
I remember that.
So I hadn't written, a grown-up novel since 2004. So this was, it was a brand new, I was back in the game, and it was really, really hard. It was actually like the worst writing experience, like publishing experience of my life.
Wow.
It was rejected by every major publisher, everyone.
Are you serious?
Everywhere. It was just so many no's. And it was always some, like racist ass reason. It was like, can you talk a little bit more about, so Jenna's a fashion editor. We know that fashion is a largely white industry. Can you talk a little bit about how she, felt like we need more of the Black struggle in the book? It was that.
It's a rom-com. It's not, okay, all right, okay.
It's not about that, and it's okay for us to just exist in a story because it's juicy and delicious and fun. Like, we have humanity too, or it was, we don't believe that a woman would reach these heights in fashion, so can we change the industry? It's crazy. And meanwhile, they're talking to someone who had been a beauty editor at fashion magazines for, 15 years at the time. So, yeah, it was really tough. It was that moment right before Trump was elected and BLM and, George Floyd and Me Too, and some publishers were held accountable for the diversity of voices they were bringing in, and everything changed. But before that, it was still very much like a monochromatic white book publishing industry that really feels the most comfortable publishing Black stories if they're rooted in oppression and struggle. So yeah, it was terrible timing. So I got a very extremely indie publisher, no advance. It wasn't in any bookstores.
What?
I got my girlfriend to design the cover. I mean, it was very much a, it takes a village kind of a thing. And Sharice, my agent, and your agent really, really just, pushed for it to be, seen. And my girlfriend, Robin, knew Gabrielle and knew that she was going on vacation and was like, you should read this book. And she took it with her, and the rest is history. This book that you couldn't get at a bookstore, you had to download from Amazon, no one wanted it, suddenly was in the hands of a movie star. And, then we end up here. It's crazy.
Tia, I have tears in my eyes. Oh my God. I didn't know that was the story for the book.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
Like in my head, like it went to this major publisher and there was this like gigantic push and like all the Hollywood agents came like barking and clapping for it. And then there was a bidding war and oh my gosh.
I didn't even have a Hollywood.
Oh my God. This is the little book that could. Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so the book that everyone now, my publisher for 7 Days in June went back and bought it. And so now it's obviously available in stores and everywhere, and, there's marketing dollars behind it now, but that's because they bought it.
I'm so happy for you. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. I certainly never saw this, it ending up here of all places. I thought 7 people would read it.
Oh my gosh. No. And it's so good. What did your daughter say? What did Lena say?
The movie? She loved it. She couldn't believe. So she hasn't read the book, because I won't let her read any of my books until she's 35. We are clear on that. But she couldn't believe that the movie was. She was like, if the movie is spicy and it's based on your book, how spicy is your book, and why do you feel the need to write these spicy scenes? And it's not like feeling a need to just be out here writing sex. Like, that's the genre I write in. It's the story I'm telling. And I had this big conversation with my 14-year-old daughter about how sex scenes don't just exist just to be, salacious. They're actually pushing the narrative forward. And she's like holding her ears and screaming because hearing your mom talk about sex is disgusting.
I love her.
But yeah, I know. She loved it. Keith Powers. Can we talk?
Yes.
Oh, he is so cute, and he is so good in this role. He is the perfect Eric.
I love.
He's going to be a superstar.
It's Keith Powers. Gina Torres is in it. Gabby Union, obviously.
She's great. Gabby Union.
Aisha.
Huger Aisha's in it. Lala is in it. Godfrey has a cameo that is absolutely hilarious. Yeah,
he's always hilarious. I didn't know Lala was in it. Okay. I saw her in one of the pictures, and I thought, I was like, oh, she's there to support. Okay. But no, Lala's in it. Okay.
She's in it, yeah.
She's in everything.
She's so good.
Yay. I want to ask of a favorite scene, but I don't want to give anything away, especially because it's only this is airing the day it comes out. So I just want people to be like, oh my God, I'm going to go watch this now. I'm done. I'm leaving this podcast and I'm going to watch this film.
I so want to give a favorite scene, but not so much, but a lot of the film is a departure from what happens in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be a spoiler.
No, we don't want spoilers.
Even if you read the book, talking too much about what happens in the movie is a spoiler, because there's a lot of new sort of storylines.
Was that jarring for you as a writer to see it going in different directions? You're like, wait, we're supposed to go left and now we're going right. What's happening?
It was. I know how it goes. This is every TV film adaptation, right? They're adapting a book or a news or, a magazine article or whatever it is for a totally different medium. And so you have to change things. You just have to. And I was prepared for it. But it's still let's wait. It's supposed to go this way. But in the end, I love the choices that they made. They made the, perfect sense for a movie. Because some of, the pacing, some of the narrative structures, some of the themes just don't work in a, less than 2-hour feature film,
Yeah.
So you kind of have to take yourself out of it and not be so precious about the work.
Yeah. Something else too. And because the dating and relationship space changes so very rapidly, I think some things that are okay in 2016 become weird in 2023.
Oh my God.
Without knowing exactly what changes they made. I just think about things that I wrote over the years that I would never write now because it's an entirely different landscape.
Absolutely. And you kind of cringe at some of the things that you wrote that aren't really, the most progressive today. And it's just oh shit, please don't cancel me.
I think about that all the time.
Diva was published in 2004, and I think I even say something in there a character calls another character a slut or slutty or something, and it's just I've had people DM me you should really change that. It doesn't really play well, in 2023, and I'm just that is a thought, but yeah, especially with the two of us, with such a long history of our bylines out there, it's who even knows what we've been saying for the past 20 years?
Yeah. And the crazy thing too is like I think a lot of it is like when I said it, it was actually considered kind of progressive, and now it's just like you like I don't know.
You absolute animal. Yeah.
Exactly. What are you working on now? I heard there's another book coming out in 2024.
My next novel, A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, comes out in February 2024, and the pre-orders just opened up last week.
Yay.
So you can pre-order it anywhere. You can pre-order books, Amazon, your favorite indie bookseller, anywhere.
Is there anything in the works? We have one successful film under our belt. My favorite, is 7 Days in June. I read that like in a day. Like I could not put it down. Like I fell asleep because it was 3 a.m., not because the book got boring. And then I had to pick it up immediately. I turned over like I was searching for my phone and I grabbed my copy and I finished reading before I got out of bed. That's how serious it was to me for these characters. Any plans for a film, a TV show, or something? I do writers' rooms now. I can write now to you. But any plans?
Right. I know you do. So yeah, it was optioned by Will Packer for TV. Yeah.
Yes. I didn't know that. Yes, it makes me so happy.
Right.
I know.
It's kind of been put on hold until the writer's strike is over. But yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah.
It will end someday.
No, we've been through it before.
I know.
Just pay these writers.
Exactly. Like pay the people. You can't do anything without the writer people. Pay the people so we can get our shows back. Let's go. Speed it up. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's so exciting. I'm so terribly, wonderfully excited for you. We've known each other forever and a day, and like we're a long way from like cubicle life.
Yes. And me crushing on your side swoop, pixie, straight hair.
Oh gosh.
The bangs were blonde. I was like, this is very Rihanna. Very 2009.
It was very inspired by Rihanna. The blonde swoop. The blonde swoop was a thing. I'll never be blonde again. Like I vowed in order to save my hair. God, never again. No more bleach. Just save what I have left.
You're stronger than me. You are. I keep getting these highlights, and I'm shedding all over the East Coast. It's terrible.
No. I had to let it go.
You're smart.
I had to in order to save the hair. Oh, also, I wanted to give compliments to hubby because he did really good with the social media. He held the camera. It was steady. There was no blur. Like he was right up on it, but close enough so we could get the details, but not too close. We're like seeing pores. Like he did really, really good. I was very proud of him.
Content king. I am so proud of him. I told him he out Courtney B. Vance.
Yes.
So proud.
Support king. He did good. Husband did very good. Yes.
Oh, he's so dreamy.
Yes.
Girls, get on the app.
Is that where you guys met?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Tia, why do I feel like I'm having this conversation and I don't know you at all? Like, I'm like, what are these details? What?
Yeah. I don't go like, where am I going to find a man? Where am I going to meet anyone?
And you met him on Bumble? I need to know like the whole backstory. So how did this work? How did this come to be?
Well, I do have to, I make it sound like a success story, but it ultimately was, but I was on the app for 4 years.
Okay.
It's a numbers game. And what I was doing was approaching it the way I approach everything else with my life, with, ice cold strategy. And I was like, if you plug in a dating day or two, I'm a mom, so I only had one dating day, it was Thursday. And you just make sure you have a date every Thursday. At some point, it's going to be your date. It's going to be your man. But it is a numbers game, and these men out here are extremely unserious. But not all of them.
So, like 4 years of Thursdays.
Take some breaks.
And some breaks. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. 1 day a week, some breaks to get like a good-ass husband. That works. It clearly works.
All those years were worth it to me because, he's my love.
When did you know, like, I think this could be my husband? Like, how far in were you?
So I was working at Bumble and Bumble at the time, not to be confused with Bumble, the app, the hair brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I swiped right on him, and we had one text conversation, and I went into a marketing meeting that afternoon, and we were sharing like news, business updates. And my business update was that I found my man.
Are you serious?
I announced it, yeah.
Off of a text?
Off of the text. I passed my phone around. Everybody was like, yeah, you found your man.
It's like confirmation. It's not just me. Everyone saw it.
Everyone just, my father was in the army, and we were stationed in Germany, in North Germany, way up, on the North Sea, from 85 to 89. And Francesco is Danish, and he is from a town that's really only like an hour and a half from where I grew up in Germany. And we had all the same references, like we knew all the same, little things, and connected in this way that I had never connected with anyone before. It was cool.
Oh, wow.
Get out there.
Oh,
and you never know what it's going to look like. I certainly did not think that my man was going to be Danish. But here we are.
He's fine. He is fine.
And I'm on Duolingo, so... You never know, girls. Keep an open mind.
I love that. Look at you. Inspiration, hope, entertainment, beauty tips. You're everything. I love you, Tia.
I try. I love you back.
Yay.
This has been the best conversation.
Yes. Well, congratulations again on your film, your best-selling blockbuster film that's going to be like #1 worldwide on Netflix, speaking it into existence. Manifesting. That's what we do. All right, my love. Is there anything I didn't ask you about, like your book or your life or your work or your anything that you want listeners to know?
My new book, A Love Song for Wicked Wild, is very delicious, and it's a great, big, epic love story. There's Harlem Renaissance magic. There is a very enigmatic relationship between a florist and a mysterious pianist. It's very steamy. And I think everyone should pre-order it. I'm so bad at doing that. I'm so bad. But you have to sell yourself. You have to be a marketer.
I know. It's my least favorite part. I just like to do it and put it out. And then everyone around me is like, you have to talk about it. That's how it sells. I'm like, I know.
It's so mortifying.
I know.
I mean, if we can't do it for ourselves, who can?
You know who my greatest publicist is? Oddly enough, my dad.
Oh, the dads ride for us.
But he's my best publicist ever. Like, he tells everyone whatever I'm doing and wherever I am, where he can remember. Because he's like, where are you today?
As he should. This is their job. I love that.
It is. It's very sweet. I'm excited. I have like a whole multi-hyphenate superstar friend.
Says the multi-hyphenate herself.
I know.
And now a screenwriter.
And now a screenwriter. Yes. All right, my love.
Thank you for this talk, Demetria. It's always fun to jump on your amazing, spectacular podcast.
Thank you. Isn't Tia the greatest? I am so genuinely goo-gobs happy for her. And I cannot wait for this Will Packer series for 7 days in June. And I tell you, I love that book. And I'm not just saying that because like I just interviewed Tia. Like, no, I love that book. I have some friends that have written books. I don't talk about their books. I'm going to leave that alone. That's the episode for today. We have other things to talk about. We'll talk about them on Tuesday. I have thoughts on Megan Good and Jonathan Major. I want to yell at Megan Good. Remember in Black Panther, Chadwick, T'Challa? He was in that first battle with Winston Duke. His mother, Angela Bassett, yelled from the sideline. She said, "Remember who you are." That's a terrible Angela Bassett impression. And I wish somebody would run up on Megan Good and yell that at her. You hard launched a relationship at your man's court hearing for assaulting the woman before you. Or better, the woman that was his main when you were his side. Okay. We'll talk about it next week. All right. Bye.